Do not attempt to adjust your programming.
God, it's 2024. Don't fucking do it.
B-movies and beyond.
Still got to remind people about that.
Yeah, to adjust their knobs. Don't adjust their knobs.
Don't mess with it.
Been how many
Figure like
years?
we'd learn by now. Space years or American years?
B-movie years.
B-movie years. We have a new year calendar.
Yeah, I think B-movie years are only like 6 months. I don't know why, but I think so. Oh, man.
The funny thing about that, I know we just talked over the entire intro, but your reasoning behind 6 months and B-movie years just made sense in my mind.
See?
Because it's like, that's the shelf life of a B-movie until it becomes like B-movie centuries, and you're like, oh, that movie is forever.
Well, yeah, it stands the test of time. Is that right?
The test of B-movie time.
Yes. Oh, man. Ryan,
Peter.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2024. It has been 3 long weeks. We had birthdays, Christmas, and sicknesses, and life. You know, like whenever you don't get us for a couple weeks, just know, fans, we're still here. And life happens, and fucking deal with it.
We really should just like maybe around the holidays, we should just like, hey, let's take a little hiatus and we'll come back in the new year. No, we like to keep our listeners in suspense.
Yeah, because 3 weeks in B-movie time could be like writer's strike. It could be like 40 days. We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know how long these illnesses will take.
All I know is the world's population has been ransacked by an illness, probably from children. I feel like children just have these illnesses at all times.
It's true. I think that's where mine came from.
Yeah, and I think that's where mine came from. It's fine, I just
get yours right after Christmas, or when'd you get it?
Yeah, it was a little bit right after Christmas. I mean, it's been a little long lingering one, just like a little like kind of stuffiness, a little mucusy, phlegmy, and then like a little just kind of
yeah.
And then like today I took a long nap and I was like, I don't know if I can ever recover from this. And just been kind of slow this evening.
At least you got a nap. No more naps. I don't get naps.
Dude, you got to just call them siestas, and you're the HR guy at your work, so you got to build them in the schedule.
It's a concern. We gotta take siestas now.
Yeah, it's 2024, guys. We need 20 minutes of siesta time.
That's right. Well, Ryan, this is what I did on my hiatus time. I put up some shelves in the basement, in the studio. I should call it studio.
Yeah, brother, they look good. I like the Batman grappler thing. Where'd you get that?
Oh, Comic-Con. Wife broke it, so we had to buy it. Those are the handcuffs. Those are the handcuffs. Which I wish, we never called that guy or texted him to be on the podcast. We're really bad at following up with people, but Paragon FX Group, they do make some good stuff. But if I had to say something, like, you gotta make like a special like box, like the box needs to be a display, right? Like I want to see the cuffs, but I can't really do that and have the cool Batman symbol in the background with their current box design. So if Paragon, if you could work on that, I'd appreciate it.
You bring up a very good point about collectibles. The displaying the box matters.
Well, I'm looking. See, look at I got Quint from Jaws, right? In a nice box, I can see through it, and it just chills up there. And I got you don't see it on the other side, but I got Ray Stantz there again in a box. I can see it. It's great. And it stands up on its own. That's what you need. So, again, Paragon, our best friends, please work on your boxes. Come on, you got to
Like
make it so that you can display them.
I look at NECA toys and I'm looking at my Ninja Turtle ones, and yeah, they look like the movie covers, acceptable. But any other toy, like where they have a flap and they have all this cover art and all kinds of stuff, and it's like, no, like have the flap like hide behind in case I wanted to, so I could display my figure. I don't know. Maybe that's the
What-
2024. Someone just knocked my mic. That someone was me. But it's just no, I've been watching a lot of collectible stuff, and the box matters. The box totally matters.
It does, and that's why you cannot bend that like thing down, right? You can't do that. That ruins it. So,
Hey, Peter,
man,
we got a
Ryan.
lot to talk about, and first and foremost, we do this every year. We always rush into January because it's the most special month out of the year because it's Nick Cage month.
Woo! And your birthday.
And my birthday is on Saturday. Saturday. It's gonna be a good day. I need to rest up a couple days so I can go out and be fine and have fun. Otherwise, I'm gonna be going out spreading all these germs. So look
Yeah,
out, Broadway. Look out.
might take a little siesta wherever you're at.
Oh, dude, if they had siesta rooms at bars, that'd be the coolest thing.
I think remember that's frowned upon. You cannot sleep at bars. It
What if you
kicks
pay for the
out.
time?
I think it's more probably like a concern, right? If someone's falling asleep at the bar, you're a little concerned that there might be some issues. So I
That is
think
not
we,
a
I think we've been out. Who was it that was like falling asleep? I don't know. We've had that a few times, and we get kicked out at that point.
I know sometimes when I get to that point and I'm falling asleep, like I feel this sudden rush from all my friends, and they're like, "We gotta go," and like I'm just tired, you know.
I'm just tired, man. I just want a little siesta so I can perk back up and party.
Yeah, like just a little bit more time, and you should be okay. But
Yeah. Dude, I swear I've probably been there where I wasn't even drunk and I wanted to take a siesta and I put my head down and probably got in trouble.
I know they don't like that. You know, you gotta mind your P's and Q's. You learn it as you get older. Once you don't, everything's frowned upon. You know, you can't go behind the bar and start pouring your own drinks. Frowned upon. You can't go steal a broomstick and swing it around like you're Gambit or Donatello. That's frowned upon.
I
Like
mean, you do it outside all day, all night long.
you can't yell at the jukebox to play your favorite song from your favorite band because it's out of service. Frowned upon.
Well, I mean, no one stopped us from doing that.
They just didn't activate it.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
I got a quick question though.
Hold on, god damn it.
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
Okay, proceed.
What are the P's and the Q's that you're minding?
I don't know.
See? I don't know either.
What is P and Q? Mind your P's and Q's. Oh, that doesn't even make sense. It just says mind your P's and Q's in the English language expression, mind your manners, mind your language, be on your best behavior, or watch what you're doing.
But it doesn't say what P and Q stands for? I was trying to think like I don't know.
One suggests P's and Q's is short for pleases and thank yous. Oh, okay. All right.
Q's is thank yous is the Q's?
Thank yous. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it rhymes, but really?
In the 17th century, bartenders would keep watch over their pints and quarts consumed by their patrons.
Ooh, I like that better. Mind your pints and quarts.
That makes the most sense to me, and in context to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, it really makes sense. You better watch your pints and quarts.
Hey, you don't tell me to watch my pints and quarts. You mind your pints and quarts.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm gonna do that Saturday. I'm gonna find a bartender and be like, "Hey, you mind your pints and quarts, right, buddy?"
Yeah. By the way, give me a pint.
around the courts for everybody else. Oh, that's too funny. The more you know with B
That's
movies and
right.
beyond. Already,
That is right.
geez, we're kicking off the new year strong. We found out what P's and Q's is. Please and thank yous is dumb. We're not accepting.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like that one. So, but what's the real quick question,
bro? I was deciding if I really wanted to talk about this because this is kind of like an inside thing, but Barstool put this out, and
I'm gonna hide our thing.
Barstool Sports, they have Barstool will do like a tiered list: Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and they'll just like do the most random things out there. Some of them might be hot sauces, some of them might be types of backpacks. I don't know, but today, January 3rd, their tiered list was the hottest female animated characters. Now, for the people who are listening, I'm going to do a quick rundown on this list. Team 1 consists of Harley Quinn.
Did you mention this is on their Instagram? This is where we found this. We're pulling this up on our YouTube channel at B Movies Beyond. You can see it there. And also, Ryan will give you the audio rundown.
And well, do I need to? Maybe we just pick the ones that we like. Maybe we could just put this on our story.
I mean, there's all the classics of the animated females, which I even some surprise ones like Green M&M, I was kind of shocked by. That didn't stand out to me, but there's also some that I just don't even know. Like, who's Prome? Or is that
don't know?
Is that from like Star Wars, Padme and Team 1?
That is Padme. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was reading it as Prome. And I'm like, I don't know who Prome is.
I don't know who Shigo is. I don't know who Lena Lockhart is. She looks like she's from Family Guy or American Dad.
Yeah.
The one underneath her is an ostrich, I believe.
Oh, I think that's the feather duster from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to be tickled, Ryan, come on, it's the perfect one.
Hey, it's either that or a green M&M.
I do feel like Team 5, and I also don't know why they did teams with this. I'm not really sure, but like Team 5 really seems like a hodgepodge of, kind of like it's the rest, right? It's the rest category.
Yeah. Although it starts off with Lara Croft, and let's not kid ourselves. Roxanne and Goof Troop, when you were a kid, you're like, man, if I was Max, I would totally go for that.
I know. Well, and that was the weird thing because you have in this is animated. You got Lola Bunny and Roxanne and some other, a feather duster, like not humans,
and a fish.
Yes, from Lola, right? Lola from Shark Tale, which that was really weird too.
A fish, Shark Tale.
Yeah. But I just watched Goof Troop, or not a Goof Troop, but a Goofy movie, like a week or two ago, and I was remembering like, oh man, I had a crush on Roxanne, and like, why am I having a weird crush on this dog girl?
Dude, I was watching Chip and Dale the other day, and I thought the same thing with Gadget.
Oh, Gadget, yeah. Why isn't Gadget on here?
Right? It's just
take out the fish or the feather duster
or a green M&M. Man, think about it. That green M&M has caused so much controversy in the past couple of years. Maybe that's why it's on there.
Yeah,
like, remember
the green M&M actually.
They made the green M&M like change its boots for some dumb reason because it was over sexualizing the piece of candy.
Well, it's the same thing with Lola Bunny, right? The second Space Jam was like they had to butcher up basically.
Well, true. Wow, yeah, we had a whole episode on that. Remember?
Yeah.
Was it the green M&M in that one too?
I mean, we probably talked about that. Yeah, and Lara Croft, right? She's gone through changes too.
I think Daphne has as well.
Yeah,
it's they just restylize her, but okay, the list has animated characters. They're animated. I get it, but it's fun to talk about because when you were a kid, you thought about this stuff, and now you look at like memes and stuff and what the kids are thinking about now. But this is our generation. In our group chat, the general consensus was Team 4, which consists of Jasmine, Belle, Megan or Megara,
Meg from Hercules, Disney's
Yep.
Hercules.
Anastasia from, what is she from?
Anastasia.
Okay, cool. That's a movie.
It's pretty good.
And then April O'Neil. Peter, do you agree with number 4? Because that was my pick. That was Aaron, Sergio, and we didn't really get a team from Nikki, did we?
I don't know if we got a team. I didn't realize there was teams at first because it just says the hottest female animated characters, and then I saw the teams afterwards. So I asked my wife Danielle like what was her favorite, which we'll get into that maybe next. But yeah, I think Team 4 is probably overall the best one there.
Human.
Yeah. The runner up is I think I might have to go with Team 1 for a runner up personally, because again, they're all human. That one is a little bit more crazy, but I like that.
Fair. My runner up was Team 2 minus the fish.
Yeah, the fish throws me off, but yeah, you're right. Team 2 is pretty good. I mean, but you guys say the same thing about Team 3. I don't know. Man, this is each one has some good ones. Again, except for Team 5 is the hodgepodge, but
they got Lara Croft and Roxanne. That was like a goofy movie and video games. The other ones are just like Lorraine Lumpkin from The Simpsons. Oh, wasn't that a really like risque episode? Wasn't she flirting with Homer?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was that episode. So these are sultry women, especially Elastigirl.
Yeah.
I love like the group chat was picking them all, and then finally it was like, and then there's Elastigirl. Disney Pixar knew what the hell they were doing with that character. They knew. Hey, we'll make her a mom, but we're gonna make her like a mom bod, but we're gonna make her like not a typical mom bod, a sexy mom bod. And we have that with an Incredibles character.
Yes.
Overall, this is a weird list. And I can't believe we just spent like 2 hours debating over it. And we're not done.
All right, yeah, we're not. But okay, so we did our team. I think we are consensus is Team 4. What about just overall, who is the top one for you?
Since it's animated, Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, that's what Danielle picked as well.
Yep. Jessica Rabbit was worlds beyond animated characters in Roger Rabbit. The animators were like, we have to make an animated character sexy. That was their entire goal. These other characters they just drew them. They're characters. They're not meant to be sexy. Jessica Rabbit was meant to be an animated sex idol.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, well, the bunny was also that, I would say, in the first one. But like Jessica Rabbit, man, there's just no way. Like if somehow they come up with like, hey, we're gonna do a Roger Rabbit 2, I feel like she wouldn't be in it, or again, they would have to change how she looks. There's just no way they would do that again, which is really a shame.
That's a good point. Could they make a Roger Rabbit 2 right now?
Again, not with probably Jessica Rabbit, that's for sure.
I don't think they can, because like I said, I watched Chip and Dale over this break, and that's as close to Roger Rabbit as this generation is probably going to get.
Yep, and there wasn't any overly sexy animated characters in there, was there?
Nope, not a single one. I can't even remember a female character in that.
You know what? I was kind of surprised. Where's like She-Ra? Weren't some of those girls kind of animated girls?
Yeah. I mean, we just listed 2: She-Ra, Gadget.
Yeah. I also Luann from King of the Hill popped in my head too.
That's interesting because she's, Luann in real life would be a banger.
Absolutely. Yeah. Uh-huh.
If you live down in Arlington, Texas, and you were down at a bar and you saw Luann walk in, you're like, I'm gonna go buy that girl a shot. It's probably a Yellowstone episode that I've watched. Yeah. Who's yours, Peter? Overall.
I just Googled hot female cartoons and now I just get all these weird pictures. So if you're into that, I guess you could click on it. But
Why do you think it took me a moment to find and post this photo? I didn't want to Google that.
yeah. Mine, you know what? Oh, dude. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go with the weird one because in the one that just first popped in my head, and probably like my first like childhood crush, and I'll do the weird, dog girl Roxanne.
The weird dog girl. Peter liked
Man,
weird
she
dog
was
girls.
just so cute in it, and I was like, oh man, I want to be Max so badly. I remember after that movie, you know how he has like that like t-shirt with the hood thing,
Yep.
right? Like I found one of those like somewhere. I made my parents like buy it for me, and I think I wore that like every single day. And like I needed baggy pants. Like I wanted to be him so badly. So
You
I'll
put
go with
black makeup
Roxanne.
over your nose so you look like a puppy dog.
And wore gloves, white gloves.
Okay. It's not weird, Peter, because a Goofy movie really nailed the adolescence from going from a kid to a teenager
Yes.
without being weird and awkward. Like they did it with cartoon characters, favorite Disney cartoon characters. Like they made Goofy cool. And it's a Goofy movie. It's not anybody else. And it was about his son growing up and I think they did the Goofy movie is a timeless movie, man.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Before we move on, is there anyone that you think was left out that should have been added?
No, but I want to give a special shout out to April O'Neil. Mostly because 95% of cartoons I watched was Ninja Turtles. The reason I didn't pick her is because when I was a kid, I fell in love with the real life April O'Neils. So like Judy Hoeg and Paige Turco, those two were the ones I really thought were my April. I also didn't pick April in this sense because since the Ninja Turtles change every generation or TV show, they also change April, and she has not been consistent over these years. And you can't if you don't have that consistency with your character, then she can't be consistently hot. So
I hear ya. How old do you think Kim Possible was supposed to be?
Oh, that's a good question. I never watched Kim Possible, but I think she was probably in her late 20s.
You think she was supposed to be? I thought she was in high school.
Was she in high school?
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I started thinking about this, looking at this picture. Look at all these girls. Like, I don't think any of them are underage.
Roxanne is.
Oh, you got a good point. They screwed up there. But like everyone else, I thought is like, because I was thinking, like, why, like, you had the villain from Kim Possible, not Kim Possible. Like, I would argue that Kim Possible is harder than the villain.
True.
But
Dude.
then I thought maybe it was an age thing. I don't know.
Well, how old is the green M&M?
Oh, ageless.
Another one on this list is Lena Kane from Archer. Watch Archer. Like that show just almost gets away with adult cartoon nudity almost every episode.
Well, I mean, it is for adults, though.
But it's just funny to watch that where like you'll see a fully drawn out naked Lena Kane. And then the other girls too, even if they are fat or if they're not, like Archer don't care. Oh, speaking of which, Archer's almost done, right? They announced the final season.
Yeah, I think so.
But haven't they done that before?
Yeah, and then they go on hiatus, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We're not done."
Yeah.
Man, I feel like they missed. I don't know how they came up with this list. This is weird. Like, there's a whole bunch of like Marvel characters I think they missed, and even just
Rogue.
like superheroes. Yeah, like I don't know where they came up with this. Who's the author of this?
We should go in the comments and be like, you missed Thick Rogue, you missed Gadget, you've missed blah blah blah, you've missed just
Kim Possible.
Impossible. You miss no the Powerpuff Girls, those girls. You miss the Pink Ranger in the animated series.
Oh, dude, Wildcats. Didn't they have a show for a little bit?
Wildcats was a good one. Yeah.
They had a TV show, right? A cartoon, right? Like, oh
Mhm.
man, they were hot. All right. Well, we like hot animated characters.
Good thing we're not running for any politics. Otherwise, we'd be on some sort of list. Oh,
Yeah.
All right, back to normal.
All right. What's next, Ryan?
Hitting the button.
Here are some exciting coming attractions from
Movies and beyond.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Not a lot of trailers out, even in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like it gets a little bit quiet for the holidays. Like we had like our presents that were given to us before that. And then like I think once it actually hits, things were dropped around Christmas time, but not actual like trailers. So which is fine. And I think now it's kind of now that we're in January in the new year, I think we've seen a few things, nothing big though.
Yeah. I think January is pretty big for trailers because that's when they start setting up the summer blockbusters.
Correct. Yes.
But regardless, we got a couple trailers to talk about. First, is this out since we've recorded Beverly Hills Cop 4?
No. That's like a blockbuster thing for Netflix. Is it out?
When does it come out?
I think like June of this year.
Summer of 2024. We knew about this movie, right?
Yeah, we talked about it a few times. Yeah.
What do you think about your reactions from the trailer? Knowing
Oh,
that.
I loved it.
Good. There you go. We're on the same page. What did you love
Yeah.
about it mostly, Peter?
Well, I mean, it brought me back, dude. Like I felt like, what was the latest one that they did that was like Top Gun Maverick, man?
Oh yeah.
It was kind of like that. Like they got all the crew back together, and looks exactly the same. But you know what I thought? I was like, oh, dude, I think they actually are taking a step up in the action.
Yes.
So
Are we finally going to see I mean, Beverly Hills Cop was pretty good with action, but it was kind of like a buddy cop movie. This one seems a little bit more riveting. No?
yeah, I'd say more high action. Like there was action in the originals, but like I felt like they weren't like blockbuster action. This looks like blockbuster action. So that's something that we haven't really seen before, but like the tone, the style, and then also like just seeing all these old faces and also bringing in new characters with James Joseph Lovett Gordon. Joseph Lovett Gordon, right?
Joseph loves Gordon.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Joseph Levitt Gordon.
Is it Levitt? Man, it's been too long, man. I forgot. We need to do the actor game.
So we remember names again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let me ask you a question. If you know this one, is this going to have a theatrical release?
I believe so. It will have maybe like a week before it hits Netflix.
Okay, fair enough. I would go see that in the theater, just because I have an Alamo pass. But I like that they didn't just call it Beverly Hills Cop 4. It is called Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Yeah, yeah. Which
So
and that's the other part too. Like or Rocky Balboa. Like he's an aging guy. He's like, I still got this. Like it's I just think they're just hitting it, and it has Kevin Bacon. I forgot about that.
a lot of good actors. I saw a movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We had the Levitts and the Gordon mixed up.
Wow, we both messed that up.
Yeah, Paul Reiser's in it. Like, man, I'm just they got a pretty good crew here, and it looks like it's being done right, and I'm very excited for this one.
I agree. I would, like I said, I would totally go see this in the movie theater. But they're only giving me a week. So it's one of those like, what am I doing this week? Oh, I'm gonna go see Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Otherwise, I'm just gonna see it at home.
Yeah, I'll probably just see it at home because that's just how it goes. Yeah, but I can't wait. It's the only downside about this trailer is just the fact that like it is so early. We got like 6 months to go. So
No shit, they gave that to us early. But I mean, we are waiting 40 years.
that's true. So what's a little bit longer with the trailer?
They did it to us with Top Gun. That was supposed to release in 2020. Remember?
Oh yeah, that wasn't their fault though.
They
It was
still
worth
could.
the wait.
No, it is totally Tom Cruise's fault because he's like, no, I don't want to have any pandemics while my movies come out. So we had to wait for that shit. Even Mission Impossible was delayed.
That's true. But they were like, yeah, whatever. Stupid pandemic.
Stupid Pandora. Next one is If, starring Ryan Reynolds. Remind me what this trailer was about.
Imaginary friends.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Haven't we talked about this one?
I think maybe. I can't remember that last time. I think there's a horror one called Imaginary, and that's about
right.
imaginary
Okay.
friends, but it's evil. This one is like the good version of it. But this is, I mean, gigantic.
It was a big purple monster.
cast.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And he was he was a nice sweet monster.
Yeah, and it's by John Krasinski. Krasinski. Man, I don't know.
I wouldn't try his last. I can't get his last name even if I tried.
Yeah,
Good thing he's not going to be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, the husband to Emily Blunt.
Yeah,
that's him. He
Hey, was
wrote
that
it and directed it.
Off topic, was that confirmed that they're going with Pedro Pascal for Mr. Fantastic?
I mean, you confirmed it for me, so I'm going with this.
Man, if I am wrong,
I get
will
all my
totally
news. Yeah, I get my news from you, Ryan. So if you made it up, I'm screwed.
You are screwed. Let me see. Yeah, dude, we don't have them yet. Yeah, they have there's a big shape up in Marvel, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But before we get into that, speaking about horror movies, Mickey Mouse has a horror movie, not from Disney, but it's Mickey Mouse's Trap. So this is one of those horror movies from a character that became public, so he's public rights, and anybody can make a movie off of him. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, the Mickey's Willy Boat or whatever that's called.
Steamboat Willie, bro.
Oh yeah, that's it. Steamboat Willie.
Mickey's Willy Boat.
Yeah, that's like, when does it become public domain? Like 70 years? No.
This from time.com says Mickey Mouse is now in public domain after 95 years of Disney copyright.
95 years? So did they keep on like renewing the copyright? I don't know how that works.
Okay, Disney has.
Okay,
here, let me pop this up while you do this.
Yeah, teach us something else new.
To
But okay, so anyhow, it is in public domain, and so people are already aware of this, and that's the other part too. Like that's why I don't get like it had to be like a certain time frame where they cannot like renew that copyright, right? Like for Disney, because
Here we
why
go.
would they release this and now people have made a full film with Mickey as a horror character? So
According to
explain.
Time, says Disney has fought to keep its copyright of the famous cartoon character as long as possible, lobbying the U.S. government to extend copyright protection before it was originally set to expire in 1984. So
Oh.
they've been trying to do this since before we were born. Well, since you were born. Many lawmakers agreed that in 1976, the law was changed to allow owners to retain copyright protections for the duration of the life of the author plus an additional 50 years. So, okay, we're almost there. In 1998, Disney once again successfully lobbied against with other entertainment companies to extend copyright protection for the life of the author plus 7 years for a maximum of 95 years. So you can have copyright protection for a maximum of 95 years. So that has expired.
Wow.
In January 2024, copyright on Steamboat Willie has officially expired and Mickey Mouse is officially in public domain. This means now that anyone in the US can use the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse character without fear of copyright infringement. Copyright laws vary in country, so in some places Mickey still. So we're not getting Mickey Mouse, we are getting Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse. That's fine. Because in the trailer you see that they play off of the old cartoon and it says Mickey's Mousetrap. So
yeah, but it's still it's Mickey Mouse in that cartoon.
yeah. Well, it was Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like that's why like this movie is called Mickey's Mousetrap. Like they are straight up using Mickey Mouse's name. I don't know. I don't care, but I can see now like I'm looking at this from like the Disney side and also maybe like as a on the parent side of things, and like how often do we see where like a blockbuster movie comes out and then some other movie comes out like really close to it, or a B movie that gets put into streaming services that's looks exactly the same, slightly different title, but people get confused because they think this is the blockbuster movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
now we have this movie called Mickey's Mouse Trap, where people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's Mickey Mouse. This is gonna be fun for my kids," and they're gonna put this on and get confused. So I get why Disney was trying to like prevent this from happening. I think because it could, change the view of Disney and for the kids and everything. And then same thing for the parents, like they're just dumb and not vetting stuff and put on Mickey's Mousetrap. But
The funny thing, Peter, is like you look at this character and it's such a grab at the name Mickey Mouse because they could have just made this movie and created their own horror mask whatsoever, but they designed this just to have the horror icon look like Mickey Mouse.
yeah, I think that's the thing. Like I liked Winnie the Pooh because of the fact that like how are you gonna do that? These are imaginary characters basically, and they're gonna be horror theme, and like they made them like these weird animal creatures in that movie. Like this is just some guy wearing a Mickey Mouse mask, like not even like a good one. So like it's not. You're right. Like they could have just done like any type of mask in the same premise, and it would have worked out just fine. Like this is just capitalizing on the name. That is strictly what this is for.
100%.
So, but I will go see it because it looks pretty damn funny. And pretty low budget, like that lighting in some of those scenes was not very good, and the acting was not very good. So should be a fun ride.
It's right up our fucking alley.
That's right.
Last but not least, I wanted to put this on here because I think Disney and Marvel are starting to do what's best for Disney and Marvel. I really like that they are bringing Echo, bringing it quick. It's going to be 5 episodes and it's going to be TVMA.
Yeah.
That's about it for me on that one. This kind of leads into news a little bit, but oh my God, here we go with last names. Vincent D'Onofrio
D'Onofrio.
says Echo found the proper tone for Kingpin. I am anxious because they did a really good job in the Hawkeye series with Kingpin. I like that Kingpin's this mid villain that's in this Marvel universe who is powerful enough, but not like spacey enough where like he's gonna make universe altering movies right now. But you know, down on Earth in New York City, he can really fuck shit up. And if Disney does it right, he can make his presence in whatever he wanted to. And I think he'll do all right at it, you know?
Yeah. I love him. I think he's a great Kingpin. I don't know, like the whole Echo thing, I feel like they're just capitalizing, like, look at us, like we're being so progressive with having, right?
It's like that South Park episode.
Yeah, she's what? She's deaf, and she also is like missing a leg, like, and she's a badass. Like, look at us, like, okay, like, you already had her in the show, and she was a badass. I don't know why she needs her own series, but
She's a shell of a character. It's not about Echo. It's about Kingpin and Daredevil, and this series is going to be a bridge to Daredevil.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think it's going to have, give her more of a background, which will be nice as well, which if they're doing this, like, she's got to pop up more often, right? So she's probably going to have a part in Daredevil is my guess.
I would say so. Or maybe Punisher. She'd be good in a Punisher series.
Good point. So, I mean, she could show up, in so many of these things that they're doing, on the TV. I mean, even with, I don't know. Have we? Oh yeah, we have seen that. I was going to say, have we seen the small screen people go to the big screen? And yeah, we saw that with Miss Marvel. But I don't know. I guess I could see that. I just.
Did you ever watch Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I watched all that. It was.
Oh no! The movie. I'm sorry, not Miss Marvel. I didn't give a shit.
Oh, the Marvels.
Yeah.
No.
You are right, because everybody from the small screen shows up on there. You have Kamala Khan. You have the Hawkeye girl.
Yeah.
You have Monica Rambeau. Yeah, everybody from there does kind of show up on those Disney shows. So
yeah, we'll see with Echo. Like, I think I love, like you said, like it's 5 episodes long. Like, that's like perfect. There's not much. This is like, doing those like special like 45-minute shows that Marvel has done. Like, those have been like just perfect bite-sized pieces, like he's like, you're in and out, and like you got a little bit more of understanding. Like I wouldn't mind just seeing more of those. Like, give me an hour-long thing. You're in and out, and now I get to see more of Echo. I get to see more of whoever they pick for that time, that maybe some character just needs a little bit more explaining. Like, I like that, instead of doing like a whole 8 to 10 episode arc, where even now some of those episodes are like, man, why are they doing filler with the 8 episodes arc? That's pretty bad. Just, if it's 5 episodes, leave it at 5. You don't need to add more.
I always say that's watchable for me, but I think What If did the same thing, and I haven't watched any What If either.
So I've been watching that. I guess I'll talk about that for recommendations.
Cool.
Yeah, but I like it. And again, that's not too many episodes, and I like how they do that. So, all right, well, that's I don't know how. I thought they always got Vincent, the Kingpin, right with the proper tone. So it's kind of weird that you're saying that they got just right with Echo, because he
Well, it's
also
probably 'cause
has more.
it's rated
of a-
M now.
Well, but it's always been rated M, like with Daredevil and everything. Like
Oh,
he
yeah,
he is
he was in the Netflix one, wasn't he?
Yeah, like, and so that's why I'm saying the proper tone. Like, I think maybe he's just happy because he's getting more of a, seeing a little bit stuff in the past for him as well, and getting more of a backstory on Kingpin. So maybe that's the part he's liking. So
I totally
I don't
forgot.
know. We'll watch it.
Oh, well, here we go. I think Echo is the first time since the Netflix show when I've actually felt like we brought Fisk into Maya story, but in a way that Fisk is, I think, best portrayed. So he just summed it up right there. He's back to the Netflix Fisk.
Oh, okay. Well, good. That's kind of exciting. If they're actually this could be their little, like, look at what we did with this, mature, and this is what Daredevil's gonna be. So,
A
like,
preview to Daredevil.
yeah, like if they
Mhm.
could get that tone and like actually be mature, and like in Vincent D'Onofrio was saying that too, like that's kind of exciting because he was kind of like he was still a badass like in Hawkeye, but he was like a toned down, like he was wearing like a fucking Hawaiian shirt,
True.
like, so he was kind of like a toned down Kingpin in Hawkeye, but he was still cool.
Hey, every crime boss goes through their phases, and he went through his vacation phase.
Yep.
So, well, speaking of vacation phase, we're out of it. Let's get into some music. Going a little out of order since we talked about Vince's Kingpin. Did we talk about Jonathan Majors, or was that all during the break?
Yeah, I think that was during the break, because that was the thing that I wanted to talk about, was that, yeah, he was found guilty of assault, and now he's looking at some jail time, right?
Allegedly. But yeah, he was found guilty. They're going to have a trial, and they're going to figure out what his jail time might be.
I thought they already had the trial, and now they just need to do like the sentencing part of
They
it.
got to do the sentencing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
For the context of the podcast and what we talk about, immediately when he was found guilty, Marvel Studios and Disney let him go. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's guilty.
Let me ask you, how is this different than Ezra Miller? Because DC didn't back up Ezra Miller, but they didn't do anything about it.
I don't. He was found guilty, but he also had like mental issues, and then he's doing everything. Like his sentencing, right, wasn't really jail time. It was like community service stuff.
Sure.
So like I guess that could happen with Jonathan Majors, but here's the thing, is that DC's not Marvel, and also I don't think Marvel didn't have almost a finished product that they wanted to capitalize on, because I mean they kind of already did the same thing, right? Jonathan
Good
Majors
point.
was in his trouble, right? And they still released him in the second season of Loki, right? He was still
Okay.
continuing on being king. So they're like, well, we have this, let's continue on. And then once the courts decide his fate, we'll make our decision. Which, like, I like that. I think you gotta let these things play out first, right? Before you just
Mhm.
jump to conclusions. And I think Disney's they've done that in the past, right? They did that with James Gunn, where they had some some old tweet and they didn't like it, and so they cut ties with them so quickly. And then like, oh, that wasn't that bad, you're hired back. And then they did that with the chick from Mandalorian, right? Like she said something, and And I feel like they probably maybe overreacted right then, and probably could have just waited, and it would have, been fine, and they could have had her still,
Oh, Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Let me say the thing about Gina Carano. She doubled down on it. She didn't like just get fired. She like went full. It was about Republicans or something, but she doubled down on what they fired her for, and she tried to go off and make her own career about it, and like start making all these right-wing movies and stuff. And um, if she didn't double down, I think Disney would have brought her back. I think they would have.
I mean, maybe, but the fact that they just fired her, like, I think that's my point, is that she went and did all that because she was pissed,
Right.
right? Like James Gunn, like, he said, "Hey, that was a different time in my life, and I thought something that was I put out there that was funny to me then is not longer funny." Like he explained it, like I think even if she just didn't say, "Hey, I'm just using my freedom of speech," maybe like that again, it probably could have blown over for her. She was pissed off, and so that made things worse. I think James Gunn still, I guess, yes, you're right. James Gunn could have went down that road too, but I honestly feel like he's a different person than he was at that point when he wrote that thing.
Dude, not only did he take the higher road, but he found he took the road that was going to propel him into the next like stratosphere.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll come back and do another Guardians movie. I don't know if I'm going to commit to any more. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just taking over DC, and I'm done with Guardians of the Galaxy. You guys figure it out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm going to create my own universe. Okay, bye.
Yeah. And I don't, cutting ties with them, I don't think it's going to affect much. They can easily recast them. Marvel's already done that a handful of times.
Yeah, didn't they kind of write off Kang at the end of Loki too? Anyway,
I don't know. I haven't watched it. So.
I haven't watched it either. But one thing I heard is like they set up a scenario where Kang doesn't really matter in because he wasn't that big. I mean, I guess in Ant-Man he was starting to get big, but they can retcon him anyway. And I like
you replace him, man. Just like with Terrence Howard, it's like you just switch him and be like, hey, this is the new King. And I saw something that they already had like an idea, like someone from The Walking Dead apparently, but I didn't click on it. But yeah, some guy from The Walking Dead, and I it's easy to do. You start doing that, everyone will just like, okay. It's just, I think people are very accepting and that's really a weird comment, but I feel like they're going to be okay with this one, right? I just think it's going to be okay if they switch and like get some other actor. They don't have to totally like get rid of Kang in the MCU. It's just like, oh, well, we had to switch, like we had to change gears. And, this is different than, someone dying and, like, hey, let's not recast them, like let's pay some homage to them. Like this is different. You just need we're done with that guy. Let's move on. We'll get someone that's similar and we'll be fine. Like, dude, if they went and got the guy that played the villain in Guardians 3, like,
gosh,
yeah, he'd be great. I don't think I'd even notice.
I do. They could totally write that into the story too, because they wrote it in the Guardians with his face being all jacked up. I don't remember this guy in Walking Dead. His name is Coleman Domingo. What a badass name. Who I was thinking about from The Walking Dead would be King Ezekiel, dude. Whoever played Ezekiel would have been awesome. My favorite was fan cast for this was dude, you know how you get everybody to forget about it?
Wow.
Denzel Washington. Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, that's true.
True. They're gonna be like, Kang is Denzel Washington. They'd be like, who? Jonathan Majors? Who? Okay, moving on.
Yeah. I think there's
Also,
a few people that they could probably put in there, and no one's gonna be like, what?
and they don't have to look the same. You're right. Brody was he was Terrence Howard, and Don Cheadle looks nothing like him.
Yeah, not really. Besides being
So-
black.
Besides him, and Kang
So
doesn't even need to be black. They can recast him as a white dude.
yeah,
mean,
and that's the
Kang-
other thing. Like these are variants, like Loki has already shown that, like, hey, not all the variants have to look the same. So like they could
Right.
easily be like, well, here's the new variants, and I just no one's gonna care because so far everything that King's done hasn't really been that exciting. Like he gets beaten at Man the Wasp Quantumania, like, which is also a really weird like setup. Like you have one of the bad guys that you're gonna bring back and he gets beat instantly. It's kind of a weird setup for a bad guy. I don't know.
I agree, 100%. Hey Peter, this piece of news left me very excited about the future of one of my favorite giant lizards, which I have on in the background, Monarch. But Godzilla Minus One is the highest grossing Japanese Godzilla movie ever.
Ever? Oh, okay, Japanese. Okay.
Japanese, because the legendary Godzilla made like $346 million. But the Japanese one worldwide has done 81.6 million worldwide, which beat the last Godzilla, which was Shin Godzilla, which was an okay Godzilla. It was too political in my mind, but this last Godzilla, I've seen it twice. This
Yeah.
movie's fantastic, dude. I cannot wait for you to lay your eyes on this Godzilla movie.
Well, and
Read
that's what I
read the subtitles and watch the story and see Godzilla be Godzilla, because
Yeah.
it's a fantastic movie.
I mean that's I'm glad to hear that. I've heard so many good things about it, and like how people are just so excited. Like this is something like it's really great, and also they didn't do like the blockbuster movie budget, and yet they had like great everything. Is my understanding. And seeing 81 million, I mean, worldwide, I mean, like that's actually, I mean, I feel like that's kind of low, but the fact that they got it was 46 for the US for domestic,
Yeah.
like that's almost it's more than half of what it's made, and that's just over here. And that's a foreign movie that people had to read subtitles for. Like that's pretty impressive.
Not bad for a movie with a $15 million budget.
15 million?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, they've got some fucking sweatshop CGI artists working for them, because holy shit, that's impressive.
If they have some sweatshop CGI artists, they need to send in their resumes to Disney, because they did a good job with Godzilla. They did a really good job with the CGI, the city destruction, and this movie didn't need a lot of heavy CGI, which was perfect for portraying Godzilla, dude. Like, I know legendary Godzilla, I mean, it's a CGI fuckfest. And okay, oh dude, that reminds me. I was trying to think of a movie to review, and I totally watched 98 Godzilla. We gotta talk about that.
Nice.
But I'm happy for it, because this just means that we get to see more. And Monarch is a good series. I don't know if you're caught up on that one, but that is a awesome series, and we're getting different sides of Godzilla now. And I like how Godzilla is just not one Godzilla. There's different types of Godzillas out there in different universes, and this it's like canon, canon, non-canon, or like a multiverse kind of thing with Godzilla. So
Yeah.
good to see the Japanese are reeling in on the product that they designed back 70 years ago, dude. Godzilla's been around since the 1950s.
Nice. Well,
But
good for them.
you know who I want to be around past 70 and 80 and 90?
Yeah.
A young man named Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah. Do you know how old he is?
It's not
Let's just
70
see
or
now.
80.
He's
I think
59.
59. He's about 60. Okay, that makes sense.
I think he'll be 60 January 7th.
Oh, dude, January 7th is like the birthday of all birthdays. I'm the precursor to it because January 6th is the buildup, but January 7th is what? Elvis, like Lewis Hamilton, Nicolas Cage. Like I get historical figures like Joan of Arc, Daryl Dixon, and Mike Jones. But Nick Cage, have you seen this little? People are starting to interview him because, dude, he just pumped out like 3 movies at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Did you have a chance to watch the Dream Scenario?
No, but again, I've heard good things about that.
We have what Dream Scenario? We have the Devil Sympathy for the Devil. We have Butcher's Crossing. We have the Vacation one. So, dude, that's like 4 movies.
Oh
in
yeah,
like
I forgot about
4
Vacation.
but he said something to was from NPR. Oh geez, old guard. He likes working with young directors, which I really like that about Nick Cage is he's not like Leo DiCaprio who only works with Martin Scorsese at this point in his career. Like he finds young directors and goes with it and brings his talent to their craft and just makes them a good story. Following that, I was just Googling Nick Cage news and it says Nick Cage is almost done making films, Peter. What do we do? Are we done with the podcast when he does?
Where does it say that?
Your hesitation tells me no, so thank you. Vanity Fair, Nicolas Cage is almost done making films. I may have 3 or 4 movies left in me. However, he didn't say 3 or 4 movies per year or per 4 months or per 5 years. So he might be like, well, I could do 4 months next quarter. What? You know? Also in this article, he mentioned something that he hasn't done before. He might go to TV.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now. I like that. Dude, can you imagine seeing Nicolas Cage on your TV every single week? Or a streaming service and you just get like 10 hours of them at once?
Listen, if I was Warner Brothers, if I was Apple, if I was Prime, if I was anybody, Prime would probably be the best for Nick Cage because they can throw him in all the animated stuff. But I would be like calling Nick Cage right now, like, let's make some TV series. Let's do some. I think Apple would be the best bet because their production's awesome and they're kind of teamed up with Sony anyway. But yeah. I would go to the highest bidder, Nick Cage. Your talents are generational.
Yeah, I read this and I see, you know, he loves to act. I just think he loves to do that. Creating that character and everything. So it's kind of weird that he says that he's, taking, film cinema as far as he can, but I don't think that. To me, I read this as, hey, if there is a something out there that's interesting to him, he's gonna do it. So maybe he's gonna be a little bit more selective than he once was, because there was I guess still kind of like there's just a ton of stuff where like it just seemed like he wasn't saying no to anything. But from that, we've gotten some amazing things. But maybe we won't see a jiu-jitsu too,
Be a little bit more selective.
Yeah.
I want a jiu-jitsu too. That's what I want.
I don't know, but like, and maybe not a Between Worlds. Like, I think some of these ones he probably looks back like, we shouldn't do that. But I still haven't seen him in space, so
Star Wars, here we come.
Yep. I don't know. So
we haven't seen Nick Cage in space. He needs to go to space.
Yeah, and he's already has like 4 more things like already either done or in pre-production. So the guy, he says he's gonna do 4 or 5 more. Like that's already on top of 4 that he already has done.
Dude, 2023 was his craziest year because I'm going through the list that we have of movies of him, and 19, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's done 4 movies in 2019. Seems like his most, but 2023. Albert Brooks, Depending on My Life, Dream Scenario, Butcher's Crossing, Retirement Plan, Sympathy for the Devil, Flash, Renfield, The Old Way. Dude, he knocked out fucking 8 movies in 2023. That's impressive.
Yes.
And apparently in 2022, he was just the unbearable weight of massive talent. So he didn't really do anything in 22.
That's right.
But it is Nick Cage month. He's the cage to our animal.
That's right. I got
That made no
some
sense, Peter.
but I'm in. I got some movies I need to see of his, so
Yeah, we got to do a couple of this. And that's going to be my recommendation is the Nick Cage movies I'm going to watch this month. So stay tuned for another 30 minutes of this podcast.
all right. Don't leave us, Nicolas Cage.
Never. If he died soon, would you, or not soon? If he died in a reasonable, how do I word? Like, would you go to his funeral? Would you go to his gravesite?
If I could?
on the his, yeah.
Oh, would I go visit his gravesite?
No,
yeah.
like his funeral.
If I was allowed to go to his funeral, you're talking about like I gotta travel somewhere? Probably not.
You got to go to Louisiana and go check out his gravestone where he's
I
buried.
mean, I have been there, and I think I've been in his cemetery. I just did not see his actual plot.
Oh, see,
Yeah, I was very close, and I felt very connected to him at that point.
Is that the same
If
connection?
I was ever visiting in New Orleans, dude, I'd 100% go find it. I'd go see his gravestone. Yeah.
So you'd pull a B movie special where, like, if there's a statue of Jean-Claude Van Damme in the middle of a shopping mall in Brussels, you'd go?
You go see it? Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Make it part of the vacation.
Make it part of the vacation, almost get human trafficked by an Uber driver.
Sure.
I'm not kidding. I looked over at Nikki and I was like, hey, if this is the last time I see you, it was worth it.
That statue was amazing.
That was worth it. Are you cold?
Yeah.
Or are
in
you
the
just showing
basement,
off
man.
because you're the fucking fantasy football champion?
Well, that too. Let's go. But yeah, I'm a little chilly. My nose is running. And yeah. So I'm ready to get to the next segment. My boogers all over this towel.
I want my boogers on my mic.
Gross.
Yeah, see? You want to see? Just joking. That's clean as a whistle.
Reviews.
Reviews. It's about that time. It's 3 weeks in the making.
It is.
What'd you watch?
Oh, man. So many things, Ryan. So many things.
Me too.
But the one that I had pulled up already that I was so stoked to talk about this movie. And I guess I still am. But it's been a few weeks now, so my memory is a little bit foggy on this. So I am pulling up the information, and it is called Arena from 1989.
Okay.
And it's how do I describe this? It's like it's a fighting space movie. It's like Mortal Kombat in space. It's oh man, what's a good game?
It looks
like,
fucking awesome.
Dude, I loved it. I really did enjoy this. It
Man
is.
versus monster.
Yeah. And so, like, dude, tons of makeup, all this practical makeup that they put on all these people. You know, it's set in the future, and the whole thing is basically it's just all these alien races fighting each other, right? And like their arena, like it has like the capabilities, like like they show like, hey, obviously some aliens are just they're just they're made differently, and so they have this like thing that would makes everyone evenly matched. So you're getting equal competition here, right? It's really
So
just
it
the
is
best
Mortal
fighter
Kombat.
wins. Yeah, did they kind of do that in Mortal Kombat too?
Yeah, kind of. Like, remember they had the Kana that like gave them power so they can fight the.
Oh yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had to like make it equal, but like in the video game though, that's not a thing, right? They're just kind of like all are just really good fighters.
Well, Nicolas Cage could randomly shoot fireballs. Nicolas Cage, Johnny Cage can shoot fireballs from his knees. So,
Yeah, that's true. That was fancy.
and Sonya Blade can kiss people and make them implode.
Yeah, but man, I like it. Was so cool. This is there is some like kind of like slow moments, right? It takes a little bit like, oh, what am I doing watching these people just go down and down into the depths of the spaceship to find where this person lives. Like it was like just kind of pointless, but at the same time, like you get to see the society, like, right, like how this futuristic space society works, which was actually kind of cool as well. And they did a really good job. Like obviously not the best acting, not the best fighting, maybe not the best makeup and special effects, but they did a decent job for what they have and what this movie is. I got into it. We're like at the end, man. I'm like on my feet, like, oh shit, come on, take him down, So, but yeah, it's basically the underdog story, right? It's a human who is gonna get put into the arena. Like he gets, it's kind of like the Rocky story where someone like, oh man, you got some fighting chops, and so he gets a trainer, and he starts going up, and he just starts beating one alien after another, and kind of becomes into like the public eye, and everyone loves him because he's the underdog, and they have not seen a human fighter because we're just too weak, and so it's following him. And what's his name? His name is something dumb. It's like Steve Armstrong.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's his character, which is great.
His actor name is better than his freaking character name.
Satterfield.
Paul Satterfield plays Steve Armstrong.
Yeah, just the Armstrong part of it, but oh man, it was pretty funny. Again, I thought all the makeup, like they did it, like, dude, this is, how like like, okay, so I also watched Rebel Moon, and what I want to bring up of why I'm bringing up Rebel Moon is because of the fact that like this is like a futuristic like space movie, right? Rebel Moon. They're trying to be like Star Wars, but the thing that I thought was kind of lacking is like it's just mostly just people, right? There wasn't a lot of like changes in practical effects on or makeup on people, making them like aliens. Yes, they have aliens in it, but dude, this movie arena is like every other person is an alien with some special trait. Like they put a ton of work into this part, where you got Rebel Moon, which probably got hundreds of millions of dollars to do, and they decide like, we'll just do a few CGI aliens here and there. This, they put in the time and effort, and they are aliens all over the place. Like they do these crowds of people, and all of them are have special makeup on. Like it was pretty impressive. And so that was the one thing that really stood out to me, was just that aspect of it. But Arena, it's on Amazon Prime right now. Totally worth a watch. Hour 55 minutes. It's a good time. So
I love that you find little gems like that, Peter.
yeah, dude, I was just Amazon has been really good, and I was just kind of scrolling through, and that one popped up, and like it looks like the poster looks like like a fighting one, right? Two faces are going after, but it's like a human face, and then also like this weird crazy monster thing. And I love monsters, and it didn't disappoint. And the costumes are pretty funny as well. And yeah, again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend on Amazon Prime. So
I love that. You know, you talked about movies that put time into their characters, and I watched Guardians 3 over the break, and I was just looking at this universe that James Gunn put together, and I'm like, he did such a good job creating these animal like humans and these space creatures and these weird suits and this life breathing planet. Like those are my favorite sci-fi movies. I agree with you about Rebel Moon. I started watching that. I was maybe about 20 minutes in, and I was just not captivated by what was going on. Then my dad decided to try and fire up his like 3-year-old Fire Stick, and I had to re-upload everything. Then he watched it. He's like, "Hey, did you watch the movie?" And I was like, no, I was helping you figure out your Fire Stick." He goes, "It wasn't that good anyway." I was like, "Oh, well, thanks."
I since I brought it up, like I didn't think it was bad. It did that first part, where you're watching, and like that was kind of slow and tedious. I think after you got past that kind of 20 minutes, it got a little bit faster and more enjoyable. But I mean, it's Zack Snyder. You know what you're getting with the action, the slow motion, and everything. So, I'll watch the next one. But like, I I do think if I went and saw that in a movie theater, I'd probably be disappointed. So
I'm glad his movies are not making it to theaters. The streaming services are really weeding out the men from the boys.
yeah,
And
well, but like, dude, if I saw Army of the Dead in movie theaters, I probably would have had a good time.
okay, fair enough.
So
Um, so as I mentioned, I watch a lot of movies myself, and I wanted to squeak this one out a little bit. I watched the Meg 1 and 2, and I never realized what the Meg was. I've always listened to your reviews, and I'm like, "Oh, a big shark movie." I didn't realize it was like a Chinese movie company that just paid Jason Statham to be the American guy in there so they can like have their shark movie.
yeah.
And like 9 times out of 10, nothing makes sense in there. I'm like, "Wait a minute. What about water pressure? Wait a minute. He's like breathing underwater without his apparatus, and he's like trying to open up this pressurized door, and he just like casually goes like that movie didn't make sense." And I was
I don't know
watching
what
it
you're
with
talking
Brittany.
about. I think it made perfect sense.
Okay. I was watching it with Brittany, and she not to put her out on the spot, but
Oh, are you talking about
she
the second one or the
I was
first
talking
one?
I watched both of them, and she goes, "Is it just me, or do it's man, she's gonna hate me when she listens to this, but do Asian people not know how to act?" And I was like, "I think you're right. I think you're right." Like a lot of the Asian actors in there are so bad at showing their emotions. And I mean,
But
the
isn't
only
that the Asian thing though?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like an Asian actor
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Like,
a culture thing. Like, I don't think yeah, I think that's normal.
okay. I mean, I'm watching Monarch right now, and they're pretty good showing some emotion.
Yeah, but
But
that's Americanized, like I think
oh, that's true. Good call.
yeah, like I think like straight up, like I'm trying to think some of their movies. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, but I do think it's different.
Yeah.
And I think it is changing though. I think it's changing because I mean, you see like these Squid Games and everything, but like I mean, think about like their culture. They're very what's the right?
Stoic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. Stoic, right? Like they don't really let emotion out. Not to say they don't have emotion. They don't let it out really.
Dude, and that's a really good point. If you watch the new Godzilla movie, like I felt a lot of emotion from the actors. And maybe that was like the difference between it because you watch Shin Godzilla, and oh my god, you have to chew through like 95% of the movie being political and like them going back and forth. While Godzilla Minus One was like, no shit, this is actually affecting the lives of Japanese people. Like, but that's not my review. My
Okay.
review was the Iron Claw. Remember this?
I do remember this, and I really want to go see it.
Zac Efron plays Kevin Von. Oh my gosh. I know I just went down this rabbit hole. What's her last name? Van Ryck?
I think
Van
so.
Eyck.
Something like that.
I feel really bad as someone who's like, excited to talk about this movie.
Von Erich?
Von
Erich?
Von
It's Erich. I don't know how to
Von
pronounce
Erich. Von
Erich.
Erich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Erich.
Von Erich. Von Erich.
Von Erich.
So Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, and Lily James. Lily James was she's such a fox. So this is about the story about the Von Erich family, mostly told through Kevin Von Erich, because he's the only brother that is still alive. This was like wrestling's first family back in the 70s and 80s, and it's based on a true story. And Jeremy reminded me of that multiple times when we watch this, because I was like, that's not how that happened. That's not true. Like, a really good movie. Let's talk about emotion on here. I didn't feel it. And I think it was just maybe it was one of those things where like Kevin Von Erich was saying that his dad didn't really allow them to show any emotion when things happen. Like, dude, their brothers would be committing suicide and dying or being injured or disabled in certain ways where when you just watch this like scene with Zac Efron where he just kind of like eats it, and he internalizes that. And I'm like, wow, was he really like that? Did he have to go through that growing up? Like understanding that there's death in this family. For people that don't know, the Von Erichs were a cursed family where highly talented, athletic brothers, and the dad basically groomed them to be these mega athletes. But he was a big wrestling fan. He was a wrestler himself. I want to say his name was Fritz Von Erich, and his entire goal was to get the world championship belt from NWA wrestling. Before all the WWFs, WCWs came along, there was NWA, WWF, and WCCW, and they were in territories. His territory was the WCCW territory. And what does every federation want? They want TV rights, right?
Yeah.
So his dad was trying to get the TV rights from ESPN and get the world championship under his belt. And first it was Kevin Von Erich, which was Zac Efron's character. But there are certain things that, as a wrestler, he didn't have. He didn't have the mic skills. He didn't have the moxie, stuff like that. So his brother Lance went for the world title. And as history kind of went, I could tell you the history. Do you want me to tell you the history? I mean, you could look it up on Wikipedia.
So our friend Colby, he's big into wrestling as well.
Him and I should co-review this movie.
Yeah, and he has not seen it yet either, and that's what we've been trying to figure out a date to go see this, but he's been telling me all about the history, and that's what you were saying, like that's not like true, and you said Jeremy was reminding you it is based on a true story, but like from what Colby told me is that there was actually there's like 5 brothers, and they actually combine like 3 of them into one character in this movie.
Yeah, what happens to one of the brothers um in the movie happens to like 2 other brothers, dude.
Yeah.
So in real life, what truly happened to them was worse than what they portrayed in the movie.
Exactly, but I think, for the flow of it, like, it'd be so hard to follow, like, 4 brothers, I
And
guess, or
that's
5
what they said
brothers.
when they were making this movie. The director and the producers were like, you really needed to follow the brothers that were in wrestling.
Yeah, that
And
was the point.
and that was the point of it, because you would have got lost by this other brother who wasn't really in wrestling or didn't really get this kind of push that his dad was trying to make all the other brothers. So in that sense, like, go to this movie trying to understand the history of the family and the hardships that like a family in the 70s was grown, like living on the farm in Texas, and dad's a hard ass on them. Like, you're not supposed to show any emotions. If you're a wrestling fan, dude, I wouldn't recommend this for someone who's hardcore into wrestling, because um I didn't think the wrestling scenes or the portrayal of them in the matches did justice to the stratosphere of what these matches were. Like, they were showing them in these arenas, but they were small arenas. If you go back and look at the footage, they're mega arenas. If they
Hmm.
were able to portray that in this movie, you would have seen the how big it was for the Von Erichs and how big it was for them to get the world championship belt. But in the movie, they just kind of made it like it seemed like a small time kind of operation.
Interesting.
Um, I'll tell you this, dude, Zac Efron, he's a good actor, dude. And I like that he's willing to take on these roles where he's a different person in every movie. He's not typecast anymore as Zac Efron, like this face. Like, dude, he plays a guy who's just, in a way, he's kind of dumb, dude. And
Yeah.
Zac Efron does a really good job of that. Where he has to eat a lot of emotions, and like you could tell that his life is his family and his brothers, and when that's taken away from him, how he absorbs that. And overall, it's just it's good storytelling, and it's good to, it leaves you just wondering, like, wow, how messed up is that, I- is professional wrestling? And that's why I watch it, because at the end of the day, dude, these are people who are doing obscure things to be number one in the spotlight, and they have a huge mountain to climb, and this movie really shows this mountain to climb to get to the top, and the things that you have to go through behind the scenes to get there.
Yeah.
A fantastic movie. I mean, I- dude, like I said, Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, from Shameless.
Shameless. Yeah.
Um, dude, Kerry Von Erich, he was good in there. Um, Solid movie.
Yeah.
Solid movie. So I'd highly recommend it. I know Colby's a big wrestling fan. He needs to go see that. If he needs a friend to go see it with, I will go with him. And maybe me, you, and him can go. And bring the boys. They would love it too.
Yeah. We were talking about that with Carter. Yeah, my plan is, I don't know, because there's a documentary on them as well, and I was going
Dark Side of the
to.
Ring.
Is there a dark side? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna like either watch that first and then see the movie, or see the movie and then watch it and try to weed through, like, okay, this is what that is. I don't know
Do it
which
the
one
oth-
would be better.
Do it the other way around. I'd watch the movie first, and then I'd watch the Dark Side of the Ring, because
Okay.
I feel if you watch the Dark Side and you watch the movie, you'll in the moment where you're supposed to be, you're gonna be like, wait, hold on.
That didn't
Like,
happen to that person, so it doesn't have as much
Right.
feeling. Yeah, gotcha. I like that. Yeah, afterwards, because they're putting the movie spin on it and everything. It's got to be very captivating and everything. So like, I get it, and I think you're right. Like I know it's some of it's maybe blown out of proportion, or maybe it didn't happen exactly like that, but it's dramatized to make it entertaining. And
Sure.
so, yeah, I think I like your idea. I'll watch the documentary afterwards, so that then I can like get all the pieces straight, but have the emotion during the movie.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do an Alamo Draft House Day, just kind of let me know.
All right, we will.
Oh, it's my favorite part.
Let's do it.
Yes! Yes! Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah. What do you recommend, Ryan?
Yeah. Oh, the Meg 1 and 2.
They
I
are.
watch a lot of
I don't-
stuff.
The first Meg I really enjoyed. The second Meg, that's the one where I was like, oh man, like they got really dumb with this. So I get that one.
No, you know what I actually recommend, and this should be a family tradition. Watch Nicolas Cage movies every week in January. And for my Nick Cage movie, my recommendation, I think I'm gonna pick. I think I'm finally gonna go with Sympathy of the Devil. I know you've already reviewed it. I want to get my take on it, and then move on to Dream Scenario because I heard Dream Scenario was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I was planning on watching, and I was gonna say like we should watch it, so we can talk about it together. So
Next
let's
week,
do that.
Dream Scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do Sympathy for the Devil. Maybe I'll find another Nicolas Cage movie. Actually, I do have another one that I did watch not too long ago, so I can talk about that.
The other one I want to throw in there is, did you watch Merry Little Batman?
I put it on, and I didn't get very far. Like, here's the thing, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. There's a lot of things like I start things, and it's so often like shit. I gotta go do this thing, or I gotta go take care of my kid. So I leave throughout shows and movies all the time, and I did not get very far in Very Little Batman or Merry Little Batman. But from what I did see was the very beginning, I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. It's very, how do I describe it? Like, silly comedy, right? And it's there with the animation style and just how everything, like the things that people say and all that. And so I was like, oh yeah, I think I enjoyed this. But yeah, I got maybe like 15 minutes into it, and then I had to go do other things. So
I liked it, dude. I actually enjoyed it. I thought the animation style was very unique. Story was pretty fun. My favorite was the voice cast, dude. Like you had Luke Wilson as Batman. You had James Cromwell as Alfred. But my favorite was you watch Always Sunny, right?
yeah.
Cricket was the Joker.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And he was an awesome Joker, dude.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't
you heard a
see
little cricket here and
anything-
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see anything with the Joker. Like the part that stood out to me was when Damien gets his own little bat suit, but it has like the bat AI on board.
Yep.
And that was like booting up, and it's Luke Wilson saying all this weird shit.
Yeah, an AI Luke Wilson in a suit.
Yeah, that was pretty
Okay.
funny. So
They're a little homage to bat suits and the Batmobiles and like the Wayne's Manor. Like it was pretty cool. I think that should be a little Christmas tradition, and I'm glad it Amazon, Prime had that, which is strange.
Prime.
Oh, because Prime and Warner Brothers are starting to strike some sort of deal, aren't they?
Dude, it's everything. I think there's all the DC films are on Prime. They're on Netflix now. Like, dude, like Warner Brothers just struck deals with everyone because they're trying to get their money.
It's kind of funny. Warner Brothers is literally like the slut of streaming. They're like, hey, we'll take your stuff. We'll put it over here. Hey, we'll put it on
Now
Prime.
they are.
Hey, we'll-
At first, remember, it was like, oh, we're just with HBO. And like, it seems like as soon as they went to Max, they're like, nah, fuck you. Everyone gets our shit. So it's so weird, but I think that Merry Little Batman is exclusive to Prime. So I'll have to try to watch it again. It did seem really entertaining. My thing is I've been watching What If season 2. I mentioned that before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And dude, I love these series, man. Like it is, like each episode's a different arc. It's only like a half an hour long, and like you get the whole story. Like I just saw one where like they went back to like Peggy Carter gets like the super serum. And so she's like the Captain America person, but she's like the UK version of it. But they kind of did Captain America Winter Soldier. But they did their version. And so it was like Peggy Carter teaming up with Black Widow, and they combined that with the Black Widow movie. And quite possibly they made a better film potentially of all this, and they did it in a half an hour. Like it's pretty impressive.
Huh. Okay.
So that's like just one of the episodes, and they got all kinds of different ones, and some are better than others, obviously. And then it starts to, as it goes along, it starts to kind of like start tying in where things are happening that are gonna start connecting these stories, like just like what they did the first season, which is pretty fun too, with the whole multiverse and everything. And that's about where I just got, where they're starting to connect that. And again, kids didn't have time. I could not sit down and actually watch the rest of it, and that was the other thing I really liked that Disney did, was that they released an episode a day starting on the 22nd. So like,
That's nice.
Yeah, like it was like perfect, man. Like if I was on board, I could have watched an episode a day when I was off, but and kids. So yeah, I like it. I love just being able to see all these different arcs and versions of these characters and new characters, and they do it so well. Like I hope they're learning that they can really get a lot done in just a half an hour. Like
Preach, bro. Preach. You can do really good storytelling in half an hour to 45 minutes, dude.
Exactly. So that's mine. But
you don't need a
lot
shitty
out
movie like
there.
the Marvels for that long.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I hope Disney and Marvel needs to get their shit together. So
They will. They got a full year to do it.
yep. And Deadpool 3 looks amazing. So Ryan, it's been great getting back together. I'm sure I'll see you on your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And then until then, play some Spider-Man and rest up.
I like how I threw you off. I don't know what I was doing with my thumb. You're like, okay.
I did. Well, there's been a lot where I just kind of like, I've been staring around in my basement and everything. And then I randomly come back, and that's when you're like doing this thing with your thumb. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but I think that's the side of like, we got to wrap this up. We're done.
This is the wrap it up thumb. Yeah, I will see you this
Ryan.
weekend. I'm glad our listeners are going to celebrate on this Saturday for my birthday, and then Sunday Nick Cage's birthday, but mostly
That's
mine.
right.
So.
Yeah, mostly yours. So yeah, adios.
Oh, is that the new one? I like it. What was it before?
Like this played. Used to do this.
Yeah, this thing, whatever that was.
Well, now we're gonna do a hanging loose.
Now we're gonna- I forgot. It was this one.